Hi there, everybody. It's Michele Denman. So much has happened today. I've been so excited. I was trying to do it while it was daylight, but I had to reset everything up here, and it was so beautiful because there's fall leaves behind me. I wanted to show you that, but anyway, here I am. It took me all day to get this set up. So just to get in a different, I just set up a different place here. So how are you? So much happened today. I'm so excited. The glory of God, so much is happening. It's like unbelievable what all happened today. I'm just going to pray before I talk because I have so much to tell you, but let's let God lead it. I'm going to pray first. Jesus, I just praise your holy name. I thank you, Lord, for all of the things that you're doing. It's such exciting times, soon to celebrate, big celebrations coming. The joy of the Lord is our strength, Lord. And we just thank you right now for what you're doing, God, and that the knowledge of the glory of the Lord will cover the earth as the waters cover the sea. And I ask you, Lord, just to guide this, guide my speech, guide what you want revealed. Yeah. Please, Lord, guide what you want revealed here. Yeah. The children. Thank you, Jesus, for the children. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, this is about the children. That I just heard him say the children. So the whole reason and all this stuff we're going through, and it's not been easy. Nobody's saying it's easy. It's not been, but it's the children. And I've been having like nonstop visions of certain things. And you know how we saw all this stuff kind of going down with Disney and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is about the children and the future. So the future generations, the children's children and the future generations. And so what we're doing is so massive. This is on such a level we can't even really comprehend it. Um, I don't even think we can comprehend how massive it is of what God is doing, but it really is to save lives and to save the children and to there's so much that God is doing that we don't even see, that he is stopping, that we don't even know about, that he's stopping. I mean, some people are aware, some aren't, but he is stopping so many things to protect us. And there's so much good that's coming. And I saw a massive rainbow today, just his hope, his promise, that's the hope of his coming, but also just the hope, even, of course, we can't wait for him to come back. Of course we can't. But he even, God with us, Emmanuel, even now, I can feel him in the spirit so strongly. Thank you, Jesus. His rainbow, his covenant with us, his promise, Father Abraham, I've been sharing that with you as well. But the hope that we have right now in him, and things are happening big time. Things are moving. I know sometimes it can seem like, but there really is massive movement. And the reason I wanted to jump on here today is just to give a couple confirmations, because what I love about the Lord, he's so kind. He's so good. He'll always confirm. So whatever I share something, he will confirm it every single time, which blows my mind. I mean, he's so kind to do that. It'll always confirm. So I wanted to share a couple of the confirmations, because it's just the reason I want to share that is just get excited, because it means God is real. He's speaking. And so if he can say something through me, he can say it through, I mean, he's using many, and that's what's so great. And he confirmed so many things. So here's what's so cool. So I had shared on the previous, which day was it? There was a video I shared. So I was sharing about what God was saying about the ecclesia and how he's looking for us to agree, and his ruling body. Well, Tim Sheets, that was so I think mine was on Saturday. Tim was on Sunday. Tim Sheets shared a profound sermon. I was blown away when I listened to it. And he said exactly. So he literally confirmed what God was showing me as well. Tim Sheets. He talked about what God is doing right now, and he's elevating the heirs. So the heirs of Christ, as I shared about, and we're really coming into our inheritance in a very different place as heirs in Christ. I believe that's actually a kingdom thing right now that's happening, which is really, really exciting. He confirmed that as well. Here's the really cool part. This is the part I got really excited about. So here's what I wrote. I wrote this down because it's so cool about cake. So, okay. So not long ago, before Tim shared this, the Lord told me go buy cake. And I don't eat a lot of sugar or gluten and stuff, but I was like, well, if God is telling you, you're not going to say, you're going to obey God. So I went to get a cake. And the first cake, when I walked in the store, it said celebration cake. I was like, celebrate, celebrate. And this was a little bit, not that long ago, but it was before Tim shared this. So Lord said, get the cake and just celebrate, like call things that are not as though they are. Call them in, call them as not as though they are and celebrate. It's like an act of faith. So here's what Tim shared on Sunday. He said, as a prophetic act, go get a piece of cake. And he says, when you do that, now I know some of you don't eat sugar. That's fine. Do what's right for you. But he says, as a prophetic act, to say, I'm partaking of your promise. You're saying this to God. My cake, this is the part I love. My cake is in the oven, and I believe sweet times are coming. And that you, and I believe sweet times are coming that you baked for me, that you planned for me. And is that not amazing? Because here's what's so cool about that. So I felt kind of silly with my cake. And funny thing is, it was actually really good. I'm like, I don't eat this. This is good though. The funny thing is, I don't know if you remember a while ago, the Lord kept talking to me about the sweetness, bringing the sweetness back to life. And I thought, isn't that cool? When he says, my cake is in the oven and I believe sweet times are coming that you bake for me, that you planned for me. And I thought, isn't that even just the sweetest right there? Just hearing that, to hear this from this apostle, I'm like, because I love it. So that's what I got so excited about when I heard him share this last night. I got so excited and I was like, I have to tell everybody, get your cake. Go get a piece of cake. And just as a declaration, as what Tim says, do it as an act. And I'm partaking of your promise. And I really believe that there's something real. The reason why I'm sharing this with you, another reason, which is really cool, is when God had been saying he's looking for our agreement. And, as the ecclesia, so the body, that's exact. So Tim said the same thing. If you listened, he just did a message Sunday, his sermon, and he said the same thing about the agreement. So I thought, isn't that neat? Just for such a time as this, as heirs of Christ, that we would just agree, just agree. And like, yeah, I'm going to get that cake. I'm an act of faith. Just, I'm going to eat it as if, I even was thinking about this recently. I remember, when Jesus was saying, you have not because you ask not. And I was thinking about this as a prayer, like this is like a prayer as an act of faith, just like, I'm going to eat this as if, and we're calling things that are not as though they are on earth as it is in heaven, which I was sharing on the other last video about on earth as it is in heaven. And Tim kind of reiterated. And so I was just so happy to hear that because, I just trust and say these things. And then to hear, Tim share these things as well is really exciting. So get your cake. Go get a piece of cake. I want to hear about it. I'm so excited about it. I mean, it's so funny because it's so simple and fun, with it, just the sweetness and, just a kind of a joy in that. The joy of the Lord is our strength. And I hear a trumpet sounding as I'm saying that too. I just heard a trumpet in the spirit as I said that. So eat cake. And I can't wait. I want to hear about your cake. Okay, that's so exciting. So that was a neat confirmation. I wanted to share that neat confirmation. The other neat thing I wanted to share with you was Johnny Enlow was on today, and he literally shared kind of what I shared. So he was talking about Isaiah 61. So that was the scripture that God had given me as well. He shared that, and he said, we're in the changing of the guard. Exactly. The other thing he said some amazing stuff. Johnny Enlow did this afternoon. He believes, and he said he heard this as clear as day. He woke up one morning, kind of similar to how I heard it as well. But he believes that this whole thing has already been reversed. What we're talking about with, the President. I just can't say certain words because of, understand why I'm doing that. But he believes it's already been overturned. So that's really exciting because as he was sharing, I was like blown away because I saw something similar, and I've been hearing that over and over. And as I shared on my last, again, one of my other videos, the same thing. So he believes it's already done. So it'll be interesting. And he also talked about something God's been speaking to me as well about restoring the republic, that we really are a republic, that's what we're going to be learning about in the coming days. And that is the change, the major change that we're going to see, and that we actually are a republic. And we're going to understand more what that means and understand that in the days coming. But that's also something God has been talking to me about. And that's why this overhaul is so major and so big, what we're going through. It just can't, I mean, it's just so big. I mean, it's such a big deal. So Johnny gave a lot of encouragement today. It was really, really wonderful. That was neat. And then another one, this is so cool. So then Dutch Sheet shared, it's funny how God just brought me. I just was so grateful. So Dutch Sheet shared about dreaming with God. So I had shared that as well. So God has been talking to me about dreaming again. And what I love is Dutch was sharing about we literally our DNA. So something God was showing me as well, our DNA and how we have like his dream, and it's God is dreaming with us. But the reason I wanted to share this with you, because when Dutch said it, I was so excited. The reason I wanted to share it with you is it's just an encouragement. Again, those dreams you put on the shelf, I shared with you before, those things you had maybe put on the shelf, the things that you maybe forgot about, but it really is time to rejoice. It's time to get excited and rejoice and get active in these things. So painting, creating, dreaming, singing, dancing, baking, crochet, knitting, jewelry, drawing, whatever it could be, even, whatever it is. But just start, you guys, whatever that is. You put it on the shelf and you're like, well, maybe not. I'll tell you why. And this is again what God was sharing previously, is that God was saying to us, like, okay, so about our DNA, we have a very specific, so it's specific. And I thought of this today, and I want you to think of this because, again, it was confirmed by Dutch when he said, our DNA and our specific dreaming. Okay. I thought about this today, and just think about this for a second. And I never thought of it this way, but it came to me this afternoon. Imagine that because there's only one story that's you. Okay. So remember that song, God is in this story. God is in the details. Katie, Nicole, that song just came out not long ago. I love that song. So there's only one story that's actually yours. Okay. And there's only one you, and you're an original. So there's only one you that can do whatever it is. Like, we can't. I mean, you may be, the finger, and somebody else is the elbow, and somebody else is the knee, in the body. So what I thought of this afternoon was, think of this. Now, I never thought of it this way, but imagine by you not doing your calling, you're robbing somebody of your story that could help them and save their life. I never even, like, it just hit me this afternoon that your story, what God created you for, your DNA, right? And why you're here, that if you don't fulfill it, think of it as you're robbing somebody of the gift that God gave you that could save a life. Could save somebody's day, could save somebody's life, could save their eternity. I mean, we're talking about eternity. And I just wanted to share that with you because this afternoon it hit me. I thought, wow, by not sharing, by not fulfilling the God-given call, by not stepping up, by not doing it, I'm literally robbing people of that gift. I'm like, is that, that never even occurred to me like that. I never even thought of that. But there are people that literally are called, and you're the answer. There are people that are praying right now. You're the answer. I could cry when I say, I could just feel like crying. And I'm seeing the children as I'm telling you this. I think there's a lot to do with the children with this. And I feel like perhaps maybe, like children's books, children's stories. Maybe there's a play you're going to write. Maybe there's a movie script you're going to write, maybe a song. But let's think about that with the children. Like, how could we take the gospel and make it childlike and maybe a story for kids, or an art piece for kids, or inspiration. Think of it that way. Think of it as inspiration, a movie script for kids, a play. That is how Disney will fall. Does that make sense when you think of it? Almost, I see it like a scale. Think about it that way, is that's how the Disney falls, because then we have over here that architectural blueprint, that blueprint from heaven, literally the answers, like the Josephs, the Esthers, the answers, and that blueprint from heaven of here it is. So it's from heaven. Like, what is God's story for the kids? What is God's message? What does God want to say? What is, like, I'm even seeing games. What if there's a game? What if there's a show? What if there's something for children? I don't know. That's what I'm seeing right now. And it's funny. As I'm talking to you, he just gave me a vision of Michael Jackson. And I'm going to tell you, I do believe he's innocent. And all of that was, again, propaganda to try to defame him, because I spoke directly with my very close actor friend, and he knows all the actors, and he knows who did what kind of stuff, and he knows what's going on. And he said to me, and I trust him because he does know what's happening. He said to me, Michael is innocent. And I have felt that in the spirit, and I haven't shared that yet because I was waiting for God to say it. And I just saw Michael Jackson. He was very childlike because he never had a childhood, but I think he's been misunderstood. I think because he was trying to expose, and I think that because he was actually saving people behind the scenes, and his whole thing with the Peter Pan, and I know the Fairyland. What do you have? Neverland, Fairyland, Fairyland. Don't you love it? Fairyland, Neverland. Sorry, I love it though. I love it. But he was not a child. He was a good guy, and that was all a propaganda. Again, that's what they do with anybody that's going to expose. Anyone that's going to expose. So I, think about Michael and his songs, and I think about how he was with kids, and just that kind of joy, innocence. It's really, it's what it is. It's innocence. If I think about it that way, it's innocence. And you think of that joyful, that's the state, and that's the Garden of Eden. God is returning us to the garden. And that's what I'm seeing right now. It's that original, that's something Tim said as well. It's that original intent, the garden. And when we were pure and unblemished. And so that's what I feel like, right now, is I'm sharing with you about the kids, and just that love, it's about love. Bottom line, it's the love. Love for the children. Save it for our children. I'm hearing that song. Save it for our children. Heal the world. That's a beautiful song. Save it for our children. Save it for our children. Heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, but if you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world. Okay. Sorry. I need a little practice. But anyway, you get the gist. So heal the world. I love that. And so there is, in the spirit and power of Elijah, there's a healing anointing. I saw today the spirit of power of Elijah, Malachi 4:5-6. I saw he's going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. And I saw family revival. I saw a family revival coming. Families are going to come back together. There's going to be I'm seeing a vision of that cornucopia, a celebrating Thanksgiving, a wonderful celebration, a wonderful Thanksgiving. That cornucopia is abundance, blessing. And I saw families today, families unifying again, where the enemy meant for evil, God's going to turn it for good. And I saw families coming back together. Praise the Lord. And where there's been, a divide, families uniting again, and it will be in the spirit of power of Elijah. He's saying the spirit and power of Elijah. Praise the Lord. The other exciting thing, so much has gone on. I'm just giving you a quick update. Is that Kanye West just bought Parler. If you don't know what Parler is, it's a social media platform because he's totally been censored. And so he just bought Parler. I don't know if you remember Parler. It was around. There was it kind of like was there and it fell apart. And so Kanye just bought it. That's great because, he gets it. He really understands what's going on. And he's been saying, he's being censored all the time. And then, he's, he's going to do great things. And God had, shared that with me a while ago, and that he's really, you can see what's happening here for such a time as this. Again, we're in a revolution. We're stepping into this revolution, and I'm seeing not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. So a revolution. Okay. So that's exciting. That is really exciting. So that was just news break today. That was a big deal too. And just wanted to again remind you just a little bit of joy today and hope, and get our hopes up because it is good and God is on the move. Good things are going on. And I just remembered what God told me last night. So last night, as I was praying, I heard, because God gives me songs, and I heard gave me a plum. And I'm starting to hum. And I'm like, what is that song? The best is yet to come. I heard it. I was like, last night, I'm like doing around, and I heard the words, God does that. And he goes, the best is yet to come. I'm like, yes, the best. So a little tune. I don't even know the words. Something like gave me a plum. I know I was hearing it, and the best is yet to come, you guys. So get excited. God is on the move. It's so great. So much joy. Praise the Lord. I just wanted to give you that quick update, and just let you know, just God confirms, and he's so good to confirm. So God bless you. Have a fantastic day. Get your cake. God bless you. Take care. Bye. And celebrate. And get your dancing shoes as well. I just heard, and get your dancing shoes. Okay. God bless you. Bye-bye.